We'll do it again.
Ready?
Morning. It is 8 a.m. on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, and I call the Economic Development Authority meeting of New Ulm to order. First item is the roll call. We do have a quorum present with 5 members. Item 2.1, EDA, June 11th, 2024, and June 24th, 2024 minutes.
I'll offer a motion to approve those.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3.1, administrative activities for June 2024.
Good morning, President Mark Graff and Commissioners. You have the report in your packet. I'm sure you've all taken time to study that. I just have a few items to highlight for you this month. Note under the public housing program, the solar panel installation is underway and progressing nicely after some rain delays. On the rental houses, I believe the first 2 houses had a state electrical inspection scheduled yesterday. I didn't hear how that went, but if they passed, once they pass that inspection, then they can actually be activated and switched over to the solar. So that'll start happening as those inspections get done. Broadway House installation has not started yet, but should begin in the near future. I think they're still working through a few things with public utility staff. I know they had to change some meters over. That's a much larger project. And then note under the Home Buyer Assistance Loan Program, 1 new application was received. And under the Get It Ready Loan Program, 1 application was received and approved. Those are the only highlights, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
I do have a couple of questions. The first one is probably for Director Jorgensen. The EDA fund had a significant drop in June. Is there a reason for that?
Didn't we fund something that didn't have?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I mean,
Yeah.
where was that?
We took it
Transfer from Garden Terrace.
Yep, that's
Into
what it was.
the EDA.
Yeah, it was the transfer between the regular fund and the fund that we
Westridge?
use for Westridge.
Okay.
So that actually reverses out, but just for the year-end audit purposes, we have to make that fund, even though in total they all are in the black, we have to make the individual funds, put them all in the black. So it would have
So was it
switched
a
the EDA cash.
Transfer
and the
from
rest
the
would-
EDA fund into the Westridge Place
Yes.
fund?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
I thought it had something to do with Westridge, but I wanted to make sure. And then the second question I have was Section 8 vouchers have been dropping since August of last year, or about 10 below active vouchers than last year. Is there a reason that we have less vouchers out there being
There
used?
isn't any particular reason. Every month people go off the program for one reason or another. They request off, they go over income, they, program violations, whatever the case may be. And we're issuing vouchers to everyone on the waiting list that's eligible, trying to get those numbers back up. But as you all know, we have a very low rental vacancy rate in town, so we issue the vouchers for 4 months, but a lot of them do end up expiring, and they're not successful in finding a place. We've also had some people, because they can't find anywhere in Brown County, request to relocate out of the area, which we allow, and then those receiving housing authorities are absorbing them because I think they're all having the same challenges we're having. So they absorb them, and then we get the voucher back to use for someone else. So it doesn't help our numbers go up, even though they may lease up in another area. So it's a struggle, and we're continuing to issue vouchers and try and get those numbers back up.
Thank you. That was all of my questions.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the Economic Development Authority, the administrative activities for the month of June.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.1, EDA July 9th, 2024 claims list.
Looks pretty standard on there. I didn't see anything that,
Yeah, the only thing out of the ordinary is the payment to Wolf River Electric for the solar project, which we will be reimbursed from our capital funds for that expense.
I'll offer a motion to approve the EDA claim list for July 9th, 2024.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.1, Economic Development Activity Report.
All right, I just have a few things to point out here, and then we do have Wendy Anderson on the call as well to give her second quarter report. I just wanted to mention that we have started planning the 2024 Child Care Provider Appreciation and Training Event. This will be our third year offering that to our local child care providers, and SMIF has agreed to sponsor that event this year, so they'll cover the cost of the trainers and the catering. So there will be very minimal cost to the EDA just for some incidentals. And then I paid out the final small business grant for 2024. And one of the items that you had given us to work on this year at a prior work session was to do a business survey. Wanted to note that we did send out 395 business surveys, and the responses are coming in. We're collecting those, and we'll put some kind of chart together for you when it seems like the responses are no longer coming in. So we'll give that another month or so. Met with the hotel feasibility consultant and local developers, and we should be receiving that draft study hopefully by the end of this week, so we should have that to present to you at the next meeting. And then I attended the EDA conference, summer conference in St. Cloud. That's all I had, and then I would welcome Wendy to answer any questions you may have on her report that is attached for your review.
Good morning, Wendy.
Wendy.
Do we have Wendy? I know she joined, I think. There she is. City Attorney's here too. I don't think he has anything to add to Wendy's report.
Or just Wendy.
Wendy's on mute.
There's an audio issue, hang on.
Sounds like it's an issue on our end, Wendy.
It's on our end.
I am not an IT person.
I just sent a chat that I can hear everyone, but Teams keeps dropping.
There you
We
go.
can
All
hear
right,
you
Wendy,
now.
you're
now.
you're live now.
Oh,
You were on.
the Teams keeps dropping. So anyway, it was just pretty much a standard order. Lots of business requests for both grants, the startup meetings, marketing. I had some that was buying another business, people selling, just grant applications. So pretty basic.
Anything exciting you can tell us?
Well, there's this one business that I think I can talk about that's really exciting. She is starting a historic kind of walking tour or downtown tour business, and it's his daughter-in-law. So it's been fun working with her.
Good.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Commissioners, what are your wishes for the Economic Development Report?
I'll make a motion to accept the Economic Development Activity Report for June 2024 activities.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.1, New Ulm Business Resource and Incubation and Innovation Center, second quarter report, and we do have two board members from Newbrick here. Would you like to speak?
Good morning. Tim Knock, Newbrick Chair. I'm glad to be here this morning. I'd like to start today and say that we did submit a report, Paul Wessel. I think you've all had a chance maybe to look at that. Mm-hmm. And then there was an attachment that Heather and I worked on the other day that perhaps you might have received. But the first order of business, we'd like to update you on our director, Paul Wessel. Paul had really sent notice to the board almost a year ago that he would have liked us to start looking for somebody to work alongside of him and kind of take over. I think it was a 2-year commitment that Paul had with the board. We didn't take action on that, but it was very, we were very aware that he was more looking at being an independent consultant to not only Newbrick, but maybe other businesses in the New Ulm area. So as of June 30th, Paul is now an independent consultant on his own, and Newbrick has not, at this point, decided to, one way or another, to continue to work with Paul. It's certainly a point of interest, but it is something that we haven't committed to. So that's the first order of business. I had a chance to really look at the report that Paul submitted, and I guess I would just ask if there's any questions this morning.
I do have a question on Oak Hills.
Yes.
And what exactly is Newbrick's relationship with Oak Hills? What will you be doing with them?
Yeah, so Candace came to our last board meeting. Lindsay was there, and Candace provided a presentation. And so, as I mentioned before, I know that Paul Wessel's working with Candace in Oak Hills, an independent contract position. And Newbrick is just looking for areas where we might, in addition, be able to support. We are traveling Thursday down to check out Western Homes. So I think we're looking at what can we learn and an opportunity to see what we can do to help. So hope that answers your question.
So Tim, I have several questions. One is, I think each month I've asked about whether or not Newbrick has obtained the property that they were going after for this incubator project. Do you know where the status is of that?
As we all know, leadership has changed at the 3M at the location, and we do have a meeting this afternoon to try to find out a little bit more about that project.
And obviously with this big news, where do you, and it sounds like you met with our city manager a couple days ago, or last week. What is the plan, or is there a plan yet going forward?
Yeah, I think that was more informational, to be honest with you. But so the premise of that is Newbrick's been working on a build-to-scale grant, and the first piece of it was done last summer. That was just basically a grant that gave us some resources to continue to work on the bigger build-to-scale. The present grant that was provided to you, I think we actually provided an overview is what we did. And that is called Build-to-Scale Ignite. We've been working with a company, Corey, for the last almost 2 years. And I think we've invested about $70,000 in that project. So I think it became pretty aware to our board as of late that without community partners, whether that be city, county, EDA, that the grant would not be successful. So there was an opportunity to submit in '24, and we've decided that we'd like to try to work on these partnerships to make sure if we do submit in '25 that it would actually be something that we could obtain or be successful. It's a $600,000 opportunity with a $300,000 match, and that's basically the lead-in to the build-to-scale, which is a $1.5 million opportunity. And that directly ties into the incubator, whether that be on the property we discussed a few minutes ago or a different property. And, if you have them kind of resources, almost $2 million to invest in an incubator would be a nice start. So I think that's also in the city comp plan. So the intention of our meeting was just to see where to see if we can start working on the relationships, see if this is something feasible that we could all maybe partner on it and work on together.
Excuse me. I'd like to just chime in. So, you as a board have been asking for a long time, kind of what is the plan, the roadmap? Has Newbrick put together something? And this build to scale grant, the application is that roadmap. Looking at the application, sitting down with Shannon and Tim, it lays a foundation for what they need to work on, at least for the next year, right? So they want to apply September of '25, and there's definitely questions in there, partnerships that have to be built, and working your way back so you can reach that deadline. So they get the grant, they'll know potentially from 3M if they are able to get that land. If not, there's a couple other options within the city that we could look at to move this project to. 3M, you're not tied to the 3M lot per se. There's some city-owned property that we could potentially move this to. So, again, now that Newburgh kind of has this document, they can just start really plugging away and focusing on getting this and solidifying the partnerships that they need, because in here they have, it's a 5-county region. Well, is it 5 county? Is it 9 county? Is it just Brown County? We can figure out those questions and really what gives us the best chance for Newbrick to pursue and get this grant. So again, the partnership will help assist in some of this putting together the information for the grant.
All that takes work, Chris, so I'm concerned that I'm not hearing how Newbrick's moving forward. Is it because your board hasn't made the decision to contract with Paul in the future? Or are you going to replace him, or is there not a decision in that area yet?
Yeah, Les, that's a fair question. We do have a person of interest that we actually received a resume, so
Okay.
Looking to move
So you're
forward.
moving potentially
Yeah.
to a replacement.
For
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Thank you.
It's great that the submission is waiting to happen in 2025 to really do it well and not feel rushed in getting those matching funds should it have been accepted in 2024. That a project like that doesn't necessarily need to be rushed, and that's great that the time is being taken to kind of build up those relationships, and meeting with the mayor and Chris was a great first step in that too. So
I agree.
We've always
Lindsay.
saw ourselves as your partner, and as you move forward, and is there anything we can do to assist or help Shannon or Tim as you move down this new path?
I do think there's going to be opportunity, Les. I think it's, so how we left our last meeting is to perhaps meet the end of July, and I think at that point, if there's an opportunity to bring more people in.
Let us know.
Exactly, yeah.
We want to help as well. We want to make it successful.
Thank you.
As the city looked at the comprehensive plan, one of the things that bubbled up as being important in New Ulm was the incubator. So I think I can speak for all of us that we are very interested in seeing something like that succeed. And I know Commissioner Henn is on, or attends board meetings, and if you need other help from us, please talk with her and let her know, and if you want more help with your board meetings, because that interim period is really tough when you go between two executive directors.
Right.
Yes, thank you, Michelle.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
All right, thank you for having us this morning. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to receive the New Brick second quarter report.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would just like to make a comment that I applaud New Brick for reaching out to Chris and I for a meeting and to share with us the fact that, first of all, they were losing their executive director, but also that there was a project that we could assist with, and developing those one-to-one relationships face-to-face, I think is important. So thank you, and good luck with finding a replacement.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we will go into a closed session to discuss the potential sale of real estate. The New Ulm Economic Development Authority will go into a closed session to develop or consider offers or counteroffers for the purchase or sale of real or personal property located at 1001 and 1021 North Garden Street. This is an exception to the open meeting law pursuant of Minnesota Statute 13D.05, Subdivision 3C3, and 30D.01, Subdivision 3, to discuss the potential purchase or sale of real estate property.